You know what's interesting? People talk a lot about those who are always late. The ones rushing in, apologizing, blaming traffic, saying, "Sorry, I'm on my way." But almost nobody talks about the people who are always early, not just 5 minutes early. I'm talking about the people who arrive 20 minutes early for almost everything. The ones who check the time before they leave the house, who think about traffic, parking, wrong turns, slow elevators, and every small delay before it even happens. From the outside, it looks simple. It looks like discipline, like they're just organized, responsible, maybe a little intense. But for many people, arriving early is not really about time. It's about what extra time gives them: a sense of control, a little breathing room, a few quiet minutes before they have to step into something: a meeting, a dinner, an appointment, a social situation. Because some people don't arrive early because they love waiting. They arrive early because they hate feeling rushed, late, or unprepared. And that difference matters, because early arrival is not always a productivity habit. Sometimes it's an emotional regulation habit, a way of reducing uncertainty before uncertainty has the chance to affect them. Think about how the mind works. The brain is always trying to predict what comes next. Prediction feels calming. Uncertainty does not. Even small uncertainty can create tension. Will traffic get worse? Will I be the last one there? Will people notice me walking in late? Will I begin the moment already feeling behind? For some people, those questions barely matter. For others, their mind pays attention to every one of them. And over time, they learn something simple. If I leave early, I feel better. If I arrive early, I can settle down. If I get there before the pressure starts, I stay in control of myself. So what begins as a practical habit can slowly become something deeper. A ritual, not a ritual of perfection, a ritual of safety. Sometimes this pattern starts early in life. Maybe they grew up in a home where being late was treated like carelessness. Maybe punctuality meant respect. Maybe being on time was closely tied to being a good person, a responsible person, a person who had things together. Or maybe life felt unpredictable. Maybe plans changed often. Maybe the environment around them felt inconsistent. And when someone grows up around unpredictability, they often learn to get ahead of it, to prepare more, to leave earlier, to create structure for themselves before life can disrupt it. So later in adulthood, they may not say, "I'm anxious about uncertainty." They may simply say, "I just like being early." But often, that habit is doing more emotional work than it seems, because extra time becomes a buffer, a small wall between them and stress. Psychologically, this can be connected to the need for anticipatory control. In simple terms, some people feel calmer when they can get in front of what might go wrong before it happens. Not because they are dramatic, not because they expect disaster, but because their nervous system likes margin, a little extra space, a little extra certainty. And once a habit starts protecting your peace, it becomes very easy to keep. That is why people like this often seem very reliable. They think ahead. They prepare carefully. They usually do not like making others wait. They often notice details other people ignore. They are the ones who open the map in advance, who reread the message, who mentally calculate how long everything will take. And usually, this is not about showing off. It is about avoiding that internal feeling of disorder. Because what they want is not just to arrive on time. They want to arrive calm. They want to arrive ready. They want to arrive with their mind already settled. That is why they would rather sit outside for 10 quiet minutes than walk in 1 minute late, feeling flustered. From the outside, that may seem unnecessary, but inside, it feels completely reasonable. Because to them, walking in late is not just a time issue. It is an emotional experience. It means entering the room already off balance, already trying to recover, already feeling watched, while still trying to compose yourself. And some people simply dislike that feeling so much that they build their whole timing style around avoiding it. This also affects how they move through work and relationships. At work, they are often the people who prepare before the meeting, who submit early, who like knowing the plan, who do not enjoy last-minute changes unless they absolutely have to. In relationships, they usually value reliability. They respect other people's time. And sometimes they feel secretly frustrated with people who are always casual about lateness. Not always because they are judgmental, but because for them, time is not just time. Time is structure. Time is respect. Time is emotional stability. And in today's world, that can make them feel different. Because modern life often treats lateness as normal. Everything is flexible. Everything is last minute. People say, "I'm almost there," before they have even left. Plans shift constantly. Delays are brushed off. And for many people, that is no big deal. But for someone whose mind feels safer with structure, that kind of looseness can feel unsettling. Not because they are rigid, but because what looks small on the outside can feel much bigger on the inside. And that creates an interesting paradox. People who always arrive early often look calm, composed, mature, in control, and often they are. But sometimes that calm exists because they prepared early enough to protect it. In other words, their peace is not accidental. It is managed. What looks like discipline may also be self-protection. What looks like perfect timing may actually be a quiet strategy for staying emotionally steady. And that does not make the habit unhealthy. In many ways, it can be very functional. It can make a person dependable, thoughtful, and prepared. But it does reveal something important. Sometimes the behaviors people admire most are not just personality traits. They are adaptations, ways the mind learned to create safety, ways a person learned to move through the world without feeling thrown off by it. So if you are someone who always arrives 20 minutes early, it may not only mean that you are punctual, it may mean that your peace depends on having a little extra margin, a little extra quiet, a little extra control before anything begins. And if you know someone like this, they may not be trying to impress anyone. They may not be trying to look better than other people. They may simply have learned that being early is one of the ways they stay calm. Because in the end, some people do not carry extra time because they enjoy waiting. They carry extra time because it helps them arrive without being shaken. It helps them enter the moment with their thoughts in place, their emotions settled, and their dignity intact. And sometimes that is all being early really is. Not obsession, not perfection. Just a quiet way of protecting inner calm before the world begins.